So this is part two. If you missed part one, just a quick recap. This is Belle's silhouette, and just to give you an idea of the volume that we're going for, then we've got the construction lines. Take note of the size of the head and the distance between the neck and the upper part of the body, the lower part of the body, the waist, and then just one big swooping skirt area here. I suppose the hardest part will be the hands and the face. And I thought take a moment to, there's one I did earlier. The hands and the face are usually the hardest parts for any figure. Here's another one I prepared earlier for the face. The particular style, I've always liked the Disney character designs, especially for this one. Some of them I'm not so keen on, but this is one of my favourites. Now, so let's look at the proportions of this face a minute. Now, as you can see, maybe I've lightly pointed out the pinpoints here. Now, the eyes sort of go up. They're cat-like. They go up and they're almond shapes. And this time I'm going to take my time a little bit. Now, the space between the eye and the eyebrow is quite important. You don't want to make them down here, or she'll look a bit evil. And one of the important things is the width of the line. So from here on in, it gets a lot more difficult. But if you're drawing to this size, so her face is about the size of my thumbnail, you don't have to worry too much. Simplicity is the key. But if you're going for a big picture, or just the head, then you're going to have to worry a bit more about the overall look. And I always like to do, for the pupil of the eye, heavy line at the bottom, and then weaken the line as you get to the top. Always give the heavier line towards the bottom, because it gives a sense of like, I don't know, gravity or something, but for whatever it is. And it's real tricky doing Disney princess eyes, or how can I say, for any kind of elegant lady, because you don't want to do the makeup, as it were, too heavy, because you're going to make it look, well, you're going to make it look out of character, really. So as we get this line here on the left, it's going to be quite thick, well, slightly thick, and taper out about here, and then it's going to taper back in again as we get to the nose. She's only got a little nose. She's beginning to look like what's her name, Tabitha from Bewitched, or was it Samantha? I always get confused. Was there somebody called Tabitha? Was that the baby? Oh well. And this bit of the hair just swoops right down and goes across the ear. Thank God for that, because thankfully we don't have to draw the ear. Number one, drawing an ear is a pain in the neck. Especially if you draw in an elegant lady, because if you draw it too big, she's going to look ugly. If you draw it the wrong shape, she might look like an elf. Who knows? There's all kinds of problems. And you see, I'm doing the same thing here. We've got a thick line, and it's tapering in a little bit, and then thickening out. You've got to imagine you've got a brush. But even if you use a pencil, I'll show you what I mean. So, we're always going to be using thick, and then thin, and then pressure. Oops, went too far that time. So that's I think you get what I mean anyway. So I'm going to really thin that out there. And then from here, we'll thicken it up just a little bit. Konnichiwa. Just to add a sense of weight. Alright. So don't want to go crazy on the shadow. Okay. As I say, I'm taking my time with this one. And this is actually only maybe the second time I've drawn Belle. So this is just as much my practice as it will be yours. I think it's good fun to document it. If I get it wrong, you can tell me and I'll have to do my homework again. Yeah, it's pretty much Bewitched. Love that show. Great animation at the start. And when you're doing the hairline, just be really loose. Lots of swooping lines. You got to practice your swoops. So I'm not that worried about the hair. That's the fun part. You just be nice and loose. But the center of the face, that's when you got to slow down. Now the shine in the eye is actually quite simple, but it's up to you. You can be as precious about that as you want. But generally it's quite simple for Disney. 1 or 2 shines at the most. Belle's got, I think, dark brown eyes. So we're going to do the pupils the darkest. Sorry about my camera work there. I'm going to shade this in a little bit just to give me a feeling of where I'm at. Alright, well, we're beginning to see Belle now. I guess this line needs thickening a little bit. And Disney's eyes are... I mean, it's essential to get it right. I'm going to have to erase that a little bit there in a minute. But Disney eyes always join, whereas Japanese eyes are... As you know, they'll be like that, usually. A line at the top, line at the bottom. But here, Disney's eyes will always join, but because they're using colour, they're going to paint this line differently, and that line will be lighter. So you have to learn when to make your line weak, and when to make it strong. We'll have a little bit of a strong line here, to indicate shadow of the jawbone. We're going to drag this line down strong, and let's practice our strong line, weak line technique again on the shoulder. And draw just in like that. There we go. Alright, I think that's it. That'll do for today. Don't go crazy on the lips. Don't give her huge lips, because she's a princess. Alright. That'll do. That's 10 minutes. There you go. That's not great, but I hope that's been of use. That's kind of a little younger Belle there, or older. I'm not quite sure. Thanks for watching.